Hi everybody, Micheline from Michel Makes here, and it's been a long time since I've spoken to you. I think it must be about 2 or 3 weeks since I was last on vlogging, and there has been so much happening here that I just didn't have the time. So I'm going to try and talk you through all the things that have happened since I last spoke to you. I'll take these off, I can't see. I can't find my glasses, so I found this old pair, which I rather like. I think they're quite nice, but I think the lenses I can see better like that, like the old lady. Anyway, so what has been happening? Oh, so much. I decided a few weeks ago, because some of you know I have a little eBay shop. In answer to the question, somebody said, I thought you were retired. His lordship is retired. He has to still work for a year up until September for the company who've bought the business. He has to basically receive his normal customers and tell them what's happened and pass them on to the new company. I have always run a little eBay shop, and so that little eBay shop helps. We don't have a great pension, so it helps me put some money in our coffers to treat ourselves on these mini cruises that we go on. A mini cruise for me is a trip to the coffee shop. I don't ask for much. Anyway, I have this little eBay shop, and I'm a bit of a workaholic. I think I've told you so many times that my dad lived till he was 93 or 94, and on the day that he died, he was fixing a watch, because he used to be a watchmaker. And I think I'll probably be the same kind of person. I've got to be doing things. So I've got this little eBay shop, and a few weeks ago I thought, oh, Jubilee's coming on, the Queen's Jubilee. And for those of you who don't know, it's Sunday today. It's the last day of the Queen's Jubilee celebrations. It has poured today. It's poured where we are. I don't know if it's poured in other parts of England, but it has poured today here. And so let's go back to what I was saying. I have this eBay shop, and I thought I decided I'd sell medals in my eBay. I thought I'd sell a Jubilee medal. So basically, the Queen's Jubilee has a special little logo, and so I made these little logos that go into the medal, silver medals, red, white and blue ribbons. Thought I'd put them on my eBay site and sell them, expecting only to sell about 50 or 60 at most. Well, I've sold hundreds of them, and I've been kept so busy getting those done, and obviously there's a time pressures to get them done in time for the Jubilee, that I just had to get them done. Our little estate, it used to be an RAF estate, and we have a field over there that's a playing field for children to play on, and they decided they were going to have a street party, kind of a street party in the field, and we couldn't get, but I happened to get in touch with them, and I said, would you like some medals for that, for the kids? So they said yes, and so I made the medals for them. And unfortunately we couldn't go, because we had to go and see Mother on the day that they were having it, his lordship's mother, on the day they were having it. So I've been very, very busy with medals. Then, of course, this week has been, or was it this week? Yes, this week has been half-term week. So it's been half-term week, and we have had my 2 grandchildren, the boys. They came for one night stay, and then his lordship's 2 granddaughters came, and they stayed 2 nights, I think it was. Getting to do any filming was just impossible. Then, in between that time, we had to go halfway down the country to meet my daughter's husband, who handed over the dog, because they were going on holiday, and they were going on holiday to Tenerife. And so we got the dog and we brought her back up. Absolutely wonderful. His lordship and I have loved looking after the dog. We used to have a dog, and when she died, we hummed and hawed about getting another one, and then we said, no, we're not going to have any ties. And then, of course, we ended up with the cats that we were asked to look after for a short term, and now they've been here. Well, we're now left with just the one, but she's been here for about 5 years, I think now. Anyway, so we went and got the dog, brought the dog up here, my daughter and her family were going to be going on holidays to Tenerife. Before COVID, the year in 2020, they were supposed to be going to Italy, and that was cancelled because of COVID. So then they rebooked to go to Italy again last May, and then that was cancelled because of COVID. So she said, right, we're not going to Italy anymore, because Italy was where it all started. That stopped them from going the first year. And then, of course, with the COVID stopping them last May, she decided to change it to Tenerife. So my daughter communicates with me quite a lot during the day, 2 or 3 times, and she kept messaging me. I think we got the dog a couple of days before she was due to go. And then she said they were all ready to go. She messaged me to say they were driving from where they live in south of Guildford to Luton to catch the plane. And she said, we're off, we're on our way, got into the departure lounge. And I'm sure a lot of you who live in England, you'll know what's going to happen. They got right to the departure lounge and handed the luggage in, everything there. And then all of a sudden she messaged me and said, it's been cancelled. It's been cancelled. And apparently they called all those whose luggage had gone into the all those people who'd gone to departure lounge, not just with her flight, but with other flights. And they called them in and they just said, sorry, your flights are cancelled. And they always said, well, can we go on to a later one? No, it's all cancelled. So they didn't know what to do. And she was trying to find if she could book another flight, couldn't. And at first, she said they could try and book a flight, but it was going to cost £3,000 just for that one flight. And they kept trying and trying, but obviously everybody was trying to book the same kind of flights, so they never got a chance to go. And they were absolutely gutted. They went home. They went back home, and then she rang me and she said, we can't go. We're all ready to go to Tenerife, and it's all been cancelled. And I said, well, I had heard 2 days beforehand on the news that the flights from Gatwick had been cancelled. And then, of course, this happened. And what was annoying was they were cancelled. I think her flight was at about 3 PM. At 5 PM, the flight started again, but obviously they couldn't go because the flights were fully booked. And she was gutted. I think, I can't remember what day that was, but then she said, well, can we come up to you? And I said, you can come up, but I said, it's not going to be a holiday. It's not really a holiday for you, but you can come up. Why don't you get a cottage? I don't want a cottage. Can we come up? We're all really upset. We've lost all this money. And I said, you will get your money back because you're covered. They're covered by insurance. So anyway, they came up. And of course, his lordship and I said, it's not going to be a holiday if they come here. Plus, we had other grandkids coming. So we said, look, let's see if we can get them a last-minute booking of a cottage. So we found a last-minute booking of a cottage in the Yorkshire Dales, which was about 40 or 45 minutes away from here. So they came up and stopped the one night, and we took them out for a meal to calm them down, to get them all a bit. The granddaughters were thrilled to see us, but we calmed them down, and then we said, right, look, you've got this cottage, go there, spend the week there and have a holiday, because if you stay here, it's not going to be a holiday for you. You're going to be constantly talking about what you've lost and what's happened and where you should be. But if you go there, you've got a little holiday. And so they went there, and of course they loved it. They thought it was lovely. They loved it. They loved this cottage. It was a little cottage, really nice, and it was in a place called Middleham. Now, Middleham has a castle, and I believe it was where Richard III spent some of his childhood, in this castle. The ruins, but we had already previously been there for the first time ever about a few weeks ago, and I'll put a little video up of it for you to see. This is Middleham Castle near Leyburn in Yorkshire. Richard III, because apparently he stayed here a few times when he was in his youth. So they off they went to the cast to this Middleham, and Middleham is also racehorse country. It's where a lot of the racehorses for the whole of the UK, the racehorse stud farms and things are, where they race horses. So every day, she said that every day you had all the racehorses coming down through the village, and they were all getting their exercise, walking through and then going back, and so they actually enjoyed that. And so we arranged to take them to go up and see them in the middle of the week. I think it was the Wednesday we went up. We'd been looking after my two grandsons. They had gone back, and then we had his lordship's two granddaughters, who get on very well with the other two granddaughters. But so we took them. They didn't know about it, but we took them up to see them, and his granddaughter Fern said, "Where we're going?" And we said, "We're taking you to the countryside." "Oh, we're nearly there. Oh, we're nearly there." And we said, "It's going to be a surprise when you get there." And of course, when they walked into the house and saw their cousin, when she saw her cousins there, she was absolutely taken. So they were thrilled to bits to see each other. And then what did we do? We went to, where did we go? Oh, went for a walk into the village, and then we saw some race horses.
Horses got on their feet if they didn't go to the blacksmith.
They wouldn't have. They just have their feet. Their
This one's
feet.
a bit naughty, is it?
Yeah, they're raring to go. They're race horses, the kind that you see on the races, and they're just itching to go galloping as fast as they can.
Look at their feet. It's weird the way their feet bounce.
Yeah, they bounce.
But what would they have on their feet if they didn't have a blacksmith then?
They would just have their feet, just hoofs.
But why can't they just have that?
And then, we went for lunch into the nearby town because there weren't any cafes. There's a little village, a lovely little village, but there aren't many cafes. There's a few pubs, and they reckon the pubs are all racehorse pubs with newspaper cuttings about horse races and things. So that we went into the next town, which was Leyburn, had our lunch there, and then it was my daughter and her husband's 15th wedding anniversary the next day. So they said, "Would you mind taking the kids off so that we could have some time to ourselves in the village, in the town?" So we then decided we took them to Lightwater Valley. It was next to Lightwater Valley, and it was like a children's area, but it had nets for the kids to run on these nets, like bit like massive trampoline type nets where you ran along and you bounced up and down up in the air amongst the trees, and they loved it. So his lordship and I sat for, I think it was 2.5 hours, drinking a coffee and just watching them going from one to the other all over the place, and even the littlest one enjoyed it. So then my daughter came and her husband came, picked them up, and then we went back home and they took their girls back home. Then the next day we arranged to meet in Richmond, and we went for a walk with them in Richmond. And because my daughter and her husband had booked to go for a meal, it was that day was their wedding anniversary. I hope you're still keeping up with me. Because that was their wedding anniversary, we said we'd go and look after the girls. They're old enough to look after themselves, but we decided we'd drop his lordship's granddaughters off down the motorway further down where their mummy is, and then we drove across to the countryside to Middleham to look after the girls. So we looked after them for the evening while Mum and Dad went out for a meal, and then we got back very late at night. And what else? I can't remember what else happened, but just that so much was going on this past week that I just didn't have time. As well as we've been getting new windows put in the house. So that took, there was a bit of chaos there. We had to move stuff around, and we've been getting new windows in the house. Now, my daughter has gone back down home, and she decided to take the dog with her. So that upset our plans because we were debating, well, it hasn't upset in a sense because we're still going to go down to see them. We had thought about driving on down to France, but unfortunately something else is going to happen, so we're not going to be able to do that. So we're going down in a week and a half's time to go and see them again. We're going to stop in the hotel next door to where they live. And then we are also going to get, do you remember I keep telling you the pane of glass that was damaged from November last year by the storm? We're going to get that in the conservatory completely cleared out, and we're going to get a new roof put on. So there's a lot of upheaval going on in this place, and we're trying to get away from it. We're trying to get things done, and it's just been utter chaos. Utter cows, or in utter cows. It is utter cows in French, and that would be utter chaos. And in all that, the Queen has had her Jubilee, a Platinum Jubilee, and I haven't seen any of it because I've just been so busy. Oh, and on top of that, Mummy-in-law has gone into a home. Mummy-in-law went into a home. She was only in the home a few days, and then she blacked out and fell, broke her top dentures, and ended up being bruised all the way down one side. And she was a pitiful sight. She really was. So we were zooming up and down to see to her. She's settling in the home in some ways, but when we take her out, she's very upset and wants to go home. And so it's going to take a bit of calming down. So we're going to be upping and downing and checking on her as well, because she's very fragile at the moment. I would describe, she's happy in some ways, sad in other ways. Her dementia is the strangest dementia I've ever known. Normally I've seen dementia and it goes deteriorating all the time, but she kind of deteriorates, then remembers something, and then seems to know a bit more, and then deteriorates, then remembers something. And it's today, we've been to see her today. She's been absolutely wonderful, but she couldn't understand why we were taking her back, and why am I not staying, and why am I not going with Gordon? Why can't I go with him? And we were saying, well, because you're going home, and he has to go. He's going on a holiday from tomorrow for a week. So, so we were a bit worried about her being like that. And when we took her through the door to the place, she was, it's lovely to be back. I'm here. I've come to it. And she calls it work. So she says, well, I can do the jobs. They give me easy jobs. I think I've probably got you wondering what the heck. I've never stopped talking. It's kind of, you're having to do a lot more upping and downing to go and see her. And as I think it was Angela was saying, does she live far? She lives where she is, where her flat was and where the home is that she's in. It's about 75 miles. So we have to do a round trip of 150 miles to go and see her. So it's not a kind of she's in the next village or she's in the next town. We've got to go right the way down to see her. And the same with his grandchildren. His grandchildren live 75 miles away. My daughter lives 300 miles away. My son lives 45 miles in the opposite direction. So we are in the middle, and they're all different ways. So it's a lot of driving and a lot of time consumed in travelling backwards and forwards and up and down, and currently a lot of petrol. Then I can't find my camera, so I'm having to film this from my phone, and trouble with that is it's quite good, but the trouble is that it takes ages to download. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I can put all this together and download it for you. Well, we've come to Marks and Spencer's for a lunch. We originally were going to go to the garden centre, but him over there doesn't do queues. And he saw the queue and he said, all I could, what did he say you could see? All you could see was...
It was like, I just felt I walked into the biggest cruise ship on the planet.
He said, I don't do queues, so he said...
Not that I've ever been on a cruise ship, by the way, because I haven't.
But you can imagine there's queues everywhere, that's what he's like. So anyway, we were going to go down to the Roots where he took me from on our anniversary, but instead we've ended up in Teesside Park in Marks and Spencer's, and it's quite busy, and he's just turned around and said, what?
It's like being on a cross-channel ferry.
we've got to wait 10 to 15 minutes for our lunch. But we've got a coffee, and so this coffee has been thanks to the lovely lady who donated £5 to me from Canada. The lady who spilt the tea on her card, and don't know who on earth she is, but thank you very much. And he wants to say,
You're pretty gorgeous.
there you go. Catch you later. Minutes to find out where I'm supposed to be with the equipment, because I started it at the start. Bam, bam. Q&A time, it says. You love your prints. Oh, this is Lavada. Lavada Roof says, you love your prints. I almost always wear solid, but like you in yours. She's referring to the likes of these shirts, 2 shirts that I said I wanted to make some in-your-face shirts because I've got in-your-face fabric. And she says, what's your favourite shirt style? I love a shirt with long sleeves and buttonholes up the front. Some are tunics and others are much shorter. Well, I like this kind of a shirt style with the collar, preferably button all the way down so I can use it like a coat. So I can wear it on top of anything I'm wearing. Obviously, it would have to be black or something. I'd have to have a black t-shirt or a fuchsia t-shirt or something underneath. And I would wear it like this, like a coat. I don't like to have it buttoned up, but I do like plain ones as well. And I'm quite keen. The other day I did go when his lordship wasn't here, because I like to tippy lappy out when he's here, when he's going down to pick the girls up. I like to go out and have a little run around the shops. And I went into, where did I go into? TK Maxx, and I caught my eye on 2 t-shirts, and I bought them. And I know you say, yes, but you could have made them, but these t-shirts I had admired years ago in Phoenix of Newcastle. Not the same t-shirts, but the fabric. And I admired them, but they were very, very expensive. There was something like £40 for the t-shirt. And it was linen jersey. And I got 2. There were V-neck ones. And they're big ones that I've got, because it was all they had. And I thought, well, I quite like the baggy style of them. One's a 22 and one's a 20, I think. But they both feel really comfortable. And it's linen jersey, which I actually think is lovely. So I thought, oh, linen jersey. I bought them. They were £16 each, which is a lot of money. I was reluctant to pay for them, but I thought, oh, they're just like the ones I saw in Phoenix. So I bought them. And then I thought, I wouldn't mind making this kind of a shirt with a nice linen, white linen. And I found a website. I started looking for white jersey knitted linen. I finally found some, and it was from Dalston Fabrics. And try as I might ordering it on my phone, on my laptop, I kept putting it in my basket. And then I thought, oh, I'll go for one of those as well. And I know, Angela, you're going to say, I thought you weren't going to buy. I just fancied buying it. And every time I went back to my basket, it had emptied it. So I thought, oh, it's not meant to be. So I haven't yet bought some knitted linen, but I quite fancy making a white shirt, a completely white shirt with a white collar. Oh, what's this? Sorry, I've got a ribbon there. A white shirt with a white collar, you know, drapey one. Probably, maybe it's even one with a tab there that I can wear just like permanently over the top, with not a one that opens up. I'll think about that. But I do fancy that as well. And then I suddenly thought, oh, how about a white shirt with a floral collar? And I thought, oh, that might be quite nice, a white shirt with a floral collar. And then I went a bit further and I thought, and these are all plans that I've got. Whether I have the time to turn out with them, I don't know. But then I thought, what about a white shirt where you have interchangeable colours? And the reason why I thought of that was this. About 3 years ago, I was in TK Maxx again, and I came across this, which I bought for £1.99. There it is. It's a United Colours. It's a United Colours of Benetton, and it was £1.99. And it's a collar. I still haven't even worn it, and I've still got the tags on it. But basically, it's a collar like this. With this, the button. Is there a button there? There should be a button there. Yes, there's a button there. So you could wear it without, I would imagine the trend is, and I have seen it like this, the trend is where you just wear the collar on its own like that, you see. So it's like that. And you would wear it with just bare. So I then thought, how about a white shirt with lots of different colours like this? Now this one is really nice. This is, I don't know that I'll wear it. Well, I will do. This has got stones all over it. And I just loved that. I thought it was really nice. And for £1.99, it was in the sale. Was it in the sale? No, it wasn't. I don't know what it originally cost. United Colours of Benetton, it would probably be quite a bit of money. But I thought, it's velvet. It's red. It's a maroon velvet with fuchsia pink. So I figured it's rather like it's going to be a necklace. You know, you could have a necklace, a collared necklace. I'll have to take the labels off, obviously. As I say, I haven't worn it. Took those labels, right. So this would be a collared necklace. And if I made a white shirt, I could have it so that all these different colours could go over the top of it. So it would be like that. You know, there's your collar. And you'd have this going over the top of all of your shirts. So you could have interchangeable colours. And I was thinking, I could have this kind of collar because I've still got some of this fabric left. I could do this, I could do other ones, and I can have various colours over the white shirt. So I thought that was a good idea. So that is a possibility. I haven't got any further than it being in here, but I thought it was rather a good idea, and I did think that was rather nice. This is basically the collar and the stand, and on the back it's just plain velvet. And as I say, it was £1.99, and I figured it was a bargain. United Colours of Benetton. There you go. United Colours of Benetton. They must have been selling this. Yeah, those of you who don't know TK Maxx, and I'm not sure it's an American company, they basically sell designer clothes at a cheaper price. So I was quite pleased with that. But as I say, I haven't got around to wearing it. So Levada, yes, I would do plains, and in fact I probably would wear plains more than I would colours, because the thing with this is it's nice, but I've got to wear a plain colour underneath to make it pop. If I wear a pattern colour on top of a pattern colour, it doesn't look right. So I'd have to wear all black, or wear fuchsia or purple, some kind of t-shirt with black trousers or something to go with it. Next question is, and this next one was from Eileen Crane. And Eileen, we did answer you. I think a few of us answered you. Do you wash your viscose in the washing machine or take it to the cleaners? I wash my viscose in the washing machine. And I have to confess, and I think I've already told you this before, I never wash any fabric before I make anything. I never have. I've never felt the need to. Some people say, what about the chemicals? Well, when they make clothes to sell in Marks and Spencer's or in the dress shops, they don't pre-wash the fabric. It's the same fabric. I had a friend who made suits for men's suits and things, and men's shirts, and she worked on a lot of the clothes for Marks and Spencer's, and she said that it comes straight off the roll. Nothing gets washed. So I always feel that for me, I mean, we all have our own ways, and a lot of you'll say, I always wash it. And that's fine, that's fine. But I was totally dumbfounded when I read so many times that people wash their fabrics. Don't know, I just don't feel the need to. And if it shrinks, generally I've made them a little bit too big in the first place, so if it shrinks it's going to fit me even better. And there's nothing I hate more is when you've got if you wash it. I have on occasions washed it, say if I've dyed the fabric, and sometimes you can't get the creases out very well. So to me it's not the same. At least if it's not being washed, I'm going to get at least one wear. Like this one, this fabric hasn't been washed. And it is a bit on the big side, so I know that if it shrinks, it's still going to look okay on me. And to me, I like the body of that fabric. And if I wash it and iron it, I'm not going to get it. It's not going to look... I know that when it's washed and ironed, it's not going to be as good as it was when it's first done. So my choice... I know it might not be your choice, but my choice, I don't. But in the case of washing your viscose in the washing machine, yes, I do wash it. And when it comes to being washed, I just sling them in the washing machine. I do them at 40 degrees. I think it's just for economy. I put them at 40 degrees and I don't do... I think I do a medium spin. Just so that it doesn't make... Because a fast spin makes it crease even more. And when I get them out, I get the fabric out, I give it a good shake, or whatever I've made, I give it a good shake, like that. And that kind of gets the creases out of it. It helps to get the creases out of it. And when I hang it out, like say this shirt, when I do wash it, I will fasten it up the front. I would fasten it up the front, all the way up, all the buttons, I'd do all the buttons up. Or maybe if I don't do all the buttons, I do every other button. And then, if I do a few just to show you, every other button there, I'd do every other button. I'd shake it, and I'd make sure, in the case of this where there's buttons, I'd pull that to make sure it's right. And I'd lay it on something so that it was on there, damp, but I'd have it so that it was as straight and as flat as it can be, so the creases it's not going to crease so much. So that is how I would wash them and hang them out. And C. McLaughlin doesn't say what the C stands for. I think I was telling you about how I did some Lekala patterns, and which I actually love Lekala patterns because you can get them, you can make them to your own measurements. And she said, can you do this for pants? Well, I've noticed that Lekala is actually doing pants patterns. And so sometime in the future, I'm going to put my measurements in and I'm going to choose a pair of pants from the pants pattern, and I'll let you see just how well they come out, because I'm not sure whether they're going to be as good as if you do the measurements yourself, but I'll let you know. The next question is from Carol Walton. And she says, excuse my ignorance, but you said you made square sleeves. What are square sleeves? I've been sewing for as many years as yourself, but I've never come across square sleeves. Please explain, thanks. Carol, when I said square sleeves, I was meaning, I haven't got the right shirt, but what I was meaning was, and I didn't explain it very well, was that the sleeves were square as in they went across and straight down. I didn't taper them. They were square down there and across. In fact, that's a rectangular sleeve. But the fabric, when I cut it, I didn't taper it. I kept it all one length. It was the other shirt that I made. And then what I did was I folded it over like that to make that pleated pattern on it, pleated cuff on it. So there is no such thing as square sleeves. I meant that I cut it square down and I cut it square across from the sleeves. I didn't taper the sleeve like that. You see the way the sleeve is there, that's tapered. Well, I think when I did it, I cut it more of a square across. So probably, yes, you're right. There's no such thing as square sleeves. Now then, the next question is from Why Am I Here? She said, being from the US, I'm not absolutely sure what paracetamol is. And because I think I was telling you about how his lordship won't take paracetamol. Now we have two things for headaches, and that's ibuprofen or paracetamol or aspirin. I don't know what you call them in America, but they're the tablets, the little tablets that you take when you've got a headache, when you've got a pain, when you wake, something that you take just to get rid of that pain of whatever it is. We call it paracetamol or Nurofen. That's the two main ones that I know of, and I'm sure other ones will say, well, don't, what about such and such? But I don't, that's the two that I know of. So that's what paracetamol is. And then I had a message from Louise Mayer. I think that's how you say Mayer, M-A-H-E-R, Mayer. I would have said Mayer, but Maher. In fact, today, what was I reading? I was reading something. Oh, we were driving down to see his mother-in-law, and I noticed in the field they had made big bales of hay and they were covered in black plastic. Now, I'm constantly looking on my phone I use it like an encyclopedia or like a fact-finding mission. And I said, I wonder why if they put the bales of hay, cover them in black plastic, would it not, if the ground has been damp when they cut the hay, would it not go, what do you call it? Would the hay not ferment, or would the hay not go moist? With it being moist, would it not go mouldy? So then he said, well, I don't know, look it up. So I went and I started looking it up. And when I was looking it up, I came across a word, and I can't remember what the word was, but I was saying it in the French way. Oh, that was balayage. Balayage. I said, when they do the balayage, and I was reading this to him, and he was going, what? And then I read it again. I said, oh, I think it means bailage. And he said, why did you come out in French? And I said, well, I just thought it was a French word, balayage. But anyway, apparently they, just for your information, they put the black polythene has to be sealed and airtight, and inside it actually kind of ferments into it goes into, what do they call it? Goes into silage. And that's the hay that they use for silage when the bad weather comes, and they give that to cows. But it was very interesting. I said balayage. So it's going back to what I was saying. I do digress all the time. Louise Mayer, I think. Anyway, Louise had said that she was having difficulty finding out. No, that's not the pattern that I thought you had. Finding out how to put together two asymmetrical patterns from Lekala. She says one of them is the 4885, which is that one. I've already made it, and I quite fancied making it again. So I was hoping to find some fabric in my stash, but I don't know if I've got the right fabric. I could do it without stretch fabric, but I think she wanted to know how she would sew it with the stretch fabric. So I'll see if I can find something that I can use. That's one of them. The other one she said is 4804. Now I've got a different one, so hang on. The other one she chose was Lekala 4804, which I'll put a picture up there of it. It's not the one I thought it was. Well, it was the one I thought. I looked it up, but I thought I had that pattern. But the one I have is Lekala 4845, and it's very, very similar. That's the one that I have. And they've suggested lace, a lace infill there. Now, Jenny sent me some lace a couple of years ago, and I've been saving it, and I didn't know what to use it for. And I thought, oh, that might be quite nice. But I think the lace that she's given me is a salmon colour, and I haven't got any fabric to match. So I'm going to have to see if I've got anything that can match that, or maybe have the salmon as a contrast. So we'll see. But anyway, that's very similar in style to the one that you're looking at, Louise. So I might just make that one up as well and show you how I did it. Do that, and I hope you're not in a great hurry, Louise, because they are good patterns. So that's what I will be doing when I finally half term. It's the last half term. The next time it'll be July when we see the grandkids. And I want to wish Hazel in Spain good luck, because Hazel said, she sent me a message a while ago, as you may know, that Hazel has been quite poorly. She's had I think her muscles had ripped, or something had ripped off her, ligaments or muscles had ripped on her arm, and she has to have an operation. And she said, I finally got my date for my operation. It's on the 8th of June. I'm looking forward to getting my right arm back, although it will take a few months to heal and get back to normal. I've been in pain since September, so a few more weeks won't hurt. It will be fixed. I can carry on making a mess everywhere and say I'm crafting. Then you can see what I've been planning. So good luck to Hazel, because the 8th of June, and it's not far off. It's the 5th now, so it's 6th, 7th, 8th. It's Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be the big day. So I hope it all goes according to plan. And I hope you have a swift recovery. So that was Hazel. So I'm going to stop there. It is 10:30, and I think I shall go back into my house. And tomorrow is Monday. We have to start tidying up. We've never had a chance to tidy up since the windows have been done. We have, did I tell you that we took the dog back? And oh, she was lovely. His lordship said, he says, I quite fancy having another dog, you know. He said, it'd be quite nice. But he said, it is going to be pricey if you have one. And I said, well, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking that you've got the vet fees, you've got the food, you've got, you know, it's not cheap having a dog. You've got insurance. And the last one that I had, we were amazed at how much we were paying out. And then if we went on holiday, because we don't have family around us, and even if we did have family around us, my son doesn't want to look after a dog, and his kids don't want to look after a dog, so we'd have to put her in the kennels. And previously, when we put her in the kennels, it's cost an arm and leg. It's cost more to put her in the kennels than it's cost us to go on holiday. And we don't do expensive holidays, but you know. Anyway, so we thought about it, and then we said, yeah, but the other thing is you've got to get up early. You've got to go and take them for a walk. So I think we'll just do without. We'll just enjoy having her for a few days, and then we can hand her back. And as we were coming back today from his mother's in the pouring rain, we were driving back home, and I said, you know, there's one thing I am pleased about. I don't have to get up, go out in the rain and take the dog for a walk. Anyway, I'm going to love you, and I'm going to leave you, and hopefully catch you next time.